Well, howdy folks, and welcome back to the PI Guide channel. In this video we will explore the top 10 things that most people do not know about private investigators. First off is the PI's ability to utilize, scour, and dig through social media for information they need. I'm not just talking about finding information on the subject's activities. I am talking about very useful information that can assist the investigator in an investigation. Things like photos of their subjects, photos of subject vehicles, relatives' names, and their photos too. Photos of subjects at their residence or place of work is often able to be obtained on social media. A good PI can take those photos and compare them to potential addresses where they believe the subject may reside or to employers they believe the subject may be working at. As a professional private investigator, what other information have you gotten from social media sites that has helped your case in the past? I would love to know. Please go down and let me know in the comments below. Since we are discussing social media, did you know that many PIs often use fake social media accounts to gather information? Now, I'm not going to go into the deeply divisive topic of whether doing this is ethical or even if it is legal. That is a topic for another video. But I do know it does happen a lot, as many times the PI finds, let's say, a Facebook account for their subject. But that account is locked down tighter than a drum. They can't get any information, and the profile picture is of a dog or a mountain or some other vague thing that may or may not be related to the subject. So what some PIs do is create fake accounts and then send friend requests to the subject with, let's say, a pretty young lady as a fake persona to help entice men to accept that friendship request. And here is a bonus tip about using fake accounts, folks. Some PIs will first send friend requests to some of the subject's friends and relatives. This way, when they send the subject the request, they see they are already friends with other friends, so it must be safe, right? The bottom line here, folks, is that social media is quickly becoming the largest online database for private investigators. As well, it is often their first go-to place to find information about the case subjects. This leads us to undercover work. Yep, most PIs work undercover, at least in some capacity, in many cases. For instance, if you, as a professional private investigator, do simple door knocks under a pretext, you are in essence working undercover. Surveillance investigators oftentimes have disguises, changes of clothing, hats, glasses, and yes, even fake mustaches, beards, and hair. In fraud cases, a PI may have to go to work at a client's business to gather intel, information, and evidence of what is happening inside a business. What other ways do you know that private investigators do undercover work? Tell me about a time you went undercover and got the goods, that intel you needed to solve the case. Go down and let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Now, before I continue, let me address a concern some private investigators may have about me sharing this type of information. I get this a lot. You are sharing secret, confidential trade secrets with the enemy. Well, first of all, no, I am not. Sorry to tell you, but this information is all over the internet. There are more books than I can count that give this information away, and no, sorry to say, it is not a trade secret. Also, any good attorney these days, and most subjects of an investigation have an attorney, are going to tell their client the same things. I get it, folks, I understand, and I once felt the same way. Then I said to myself, self, is the fact that you change glasses, shirts, and hats when you go on foot surveillance really the biggest trade secret you have? Trust me, folks, I have way more secret tools I use in an investigation, as well most PIs do, than I am willing to share here in the open on a video like this. Now, I do share some of that info in my premium PI training classes. In fact, I am working on wrapping up a full-blown surveillance training course for PIs that I hope to have out in the next few weeks. If you would like more information on my premium training courses, that information is below. Now let me get off my soapbox and continue with the prime subject of this video, the things most people didn't know about private investigators. I talk a lot about surveillance in my videos, and that is because I know that the vast majority of PIs out there are surveillance investigators. And one thing a good surveillance investigator has is super secret tricks on following vehicles. Now, I do not have the time to go through all of those tricks, but trust me, there are a lot of them to be sure. It is more than just getting behind the subject and following them and getting video. If it were that easy, well, then everyone would be doing it, right? But my surveillance training course that I will be releasing soon will have an entire section dedicated to the follow. Public records access and utilization is another skill most private investigators have. Now, I am not talking about social media stuff. I'm talking about public records like police reports, court documents, and others like this. If I find out my subject was arrested 6 months ago, I can pull those records, and many times I will get address information, vehicle information, mug shots even, and potential court dates coming up or other hearings. What other types of public information can you think of that a good PI would have access to? Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, a favorite of mine is dumpster diving. Let me see a show of hands of everyone out there who has ever dumpster dived or did a trash pickup during a case. A great deal of information can be found during a trash pickup, to be sure. Utility bills, especially phone bills, can provide a ton of information. Medical information, debt data, and even correspondence with attorneys or business partners and allies can be found. Now, just to throw it out there, if you are considering doing a trash pickup, check your state and local laws regarding the legality of it. Besides public records and social media, professional private investigators also have access to what I refer to as super secret PI databases. These databases, such as IRB, IDI, TLO, CLEAR, and others, are a treasure trove of information compiled in one place for professional private investigators. These type of databases are often also available to process servers, skip tracers, debt collectors, bounty hunters, repo people, and other legal professionals too. So when I refer to them as the super secret PI databases, they are really the super secret legal professional databases. Now, the type of data and level of access may depend on the type of services a PI or other legal professional offers. Some of the data a PI can get from these databases is alias names, last known addresses, address history, current and past vehicle information to include VIN, plate numbers, and addresses where it was registered. Employment history, friends and family's names, addresses, and other vital information of those friends and family. Phone history, social security numbers, and a ton more. As you can see, there is a reason this data is protected, and these data companies do a great job in vetting the PI or whomever prior to allowing them access. You do not just call them up, give them a credit card number, and say you are a PI, and they send you a login and password. One of the many steps they take to vet PIs is to conduct office audits, where they go through a series of steps to ensure data is secured, as well that the individual is who they say they are. Now, before I cover the number one thing most people do not know about private investigators, and my bonus, yes, the bonus tip of what most people do not know about private investigators, let's discuss interviewing skills. Yes, most PIs have excellent interviewing skills. Now, these interviewing skills may be natural, they may be self-taught, or they may have professional training from previous work, such as being in law enforcement, or they took professional investigator training courses on interviewing. PIs use these interviewing skills when talking to neighbors, witnesses, or co-workers and other subjects of interest. These skills tell them if someone may be being deceptive. No, there is no for sure one way to tell if someone is lying 100% of the time, but there are things that can indicate if someone is potentially being deceptive. These interviewing skills can also allow the PI to obtain information about their subject that none of the databases out there can tell them. Things like if the subject is home, when the subject goes to work, how many children the subject has, what does the subject do for recreation, and a plethora more. Great data. Now, the number one thing that most people do not know that a PI can do, they can often obtain information as to how much money a person may have in their bank accounts. Now, a disclaimer, there are legal ways to obtain banking information and illegal ways to do this. I only suggest that a professional private investigator use legal means to do this. This will usually garner information such as account numbers and last known balances only, but this can be great information to hand over to an attorney in some cases to get a court to allow subpoenas for those bank records. Now, here is a huge secret in getting this banking information. Nope, this is not the bonus tip. That is still to come. If you are a PI and you do not know how to obtain bank information, the big secret to doing this is, drum roll please, join your state PI association, and most likely there is an investigator that is a member that does financial investigations, debt collections, judgment enforcement, something like that. There is no super secret database for you to get this info from, folks. You have to be working in certain specific fields and be vetted even more than those super secret PI databases to get access to bank records. And that leads us to our bonus of the things you never knew a PI did. Many PIs, especially those on the surveillance side of things, have a good stash of these, and they know how to use them like a pro. Okay, if you would like to know about some super secret free online databases that PIs use, then check out this video.